Hello again, YouTubers. It is Jeff at Airtime Sports Cars coming back at you with another video. This one is going to be a Blue Ink contest response video. If you're not familiar with Blue Ink, check him out. He's a relatively new YouTuber. Not as new as me, I'm brand new. But he's got a lot of good content on his page, so check him out definitely. And he has a interesting contest question, and that would be, who would be on your ballot for the 2019 Hall of Fame nomination for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame? Now, I have 6 nominees that I'm going to get to in a moment, but first I'm going to start off with 5 omissions from my contest. The first, this one might be a little controversial, is going to be Edgar Martinez. I would not put Edgar Martinez in the Hall of Fame, although his offensive numbers certainly warrant it. Defense to me is a big part of baseball, and being in the Hall of Fame. And as a DH, yes, he put up great numbers, but I'm looking for something out of from the other side of the field as well. I need a little defense in my Hall of Famers, so I'm not going to put Edgar Martinez in my Hall of Fame. The next 2 are going to be a couple of great bats, each of who finished with over 500 home runs, and that would be Manny Ramirez and Gary Sheffield. Both put up extraordinarily good numbers, over 500 home runs, but 500 home runs isn't what it used to be. Again, sort of like Edgar Martinez, these are more DH types. Never great in the field. Depending on what you read, maybe not the best of teammates or great with the media. Not that the media should have any bearing on a Hall of Fame selection or not. But just no defense for these 2 guys. Yes, they did have 500 home runs, but again, it's not quite what it used to be. And my final 2 omissions that I had to think about are going to be 2 right-handed starting pitchers. As you see here, Roy Halladay and Curt Schilling, both of whom had excellent careers, but for me, just didn't quite have the longevity. I could see Halladay getting in at some point. Of course, Halladay passed away this past year. Actually, it was a little over a year ago now at this point, in a tragic plane accident that he was piloting. But his career numbers are great, just not, maybe just didn't have the longevity that other Hall of Fame pitchers have had. He did have 203 wins, which nowadays is kind of like 300 wins was back in yesteryear. And Curt Schilling, same thing, 216 wins. Curt Schilling, I still think might get in. He had a great postseason career as well, so that could definitely count to his favor. So these are 5 admissions I had to think long and hard about. But to me, the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Greatness, not the Hall of very, very good. So, with that being said, let's get into the 6 Hall of Famers, potential Hall of Famers who I do nominate. The first one will be Mike Mussina. Mike Mussina came very close to getting 300 wins. He finished with 270. And that was pitching in a really tough American League East his whole career. First with the Orioles and then later with the Yankees. He posted a decent career ERA at 3.68, but had a fantastic whip of 1.19. And again, with his 270 wins in the American League East, had a great winning percentage. I definitely think, and his knuckle curve back in his heyday was just one of the nastiest pitches you've ever seen. Next, Okay, here we go. We are entering the PED era. This one, Roger Clemens. His numbers speak for themselves. Obviously, 354 wins versus only 184 losses warrants him getting in. A great career ERA of 3.12. Incredible career walks and hits to innings pitched at 1.17. Ton of strikeouts. Definitely the most dominating pitcher of his era and probably of all of recent time. PEDs aside, it's a no-brainer. So let's talk about PEDs for a minute, because my next nominee will be the greatest player that ever lived, Barry Bonds. PEDs, now, people want to hold it against Barry Bonds for not being quote-unquote clean throughout his career. Mind you, the first half of his career, he was fantastic without any PED speculations. But even if he did take the PEDs, which obviously a lot of people assume, and he's been under the spotlight for, people, the one thing I don't hear people talk a lot about is all the pitchers he faced that used PEDs, that we don't know about. So I really think that needs to be taken into consideration. There could have been weeks where he faced 3 or 4 starting pitchers in a given week where they were on PEDs. So I really think that whole couple of decades needs to really be have its own, maybe with an asterisk, but I don't think you can penalize players just on speculation, whether or not this one did or didn't. Like Derek Jeter, you've never heard his name, but who knows, he didn't take him. You're really opening up a can of worms. So Barry Bonds, obviously, on numbers alone, deserves to get into the Hall with his 762 career home runs, all-time record. His near 300 career batting average. I believe he ended with 298. He had over 500 stolen bases. And perhaps his most impressive stat in regards to Hall of Fame numbers, I think you have to look at his walks to strikeouts. He walked in his career 2,558 times, compared to just striking out 1,539 times. He walked over 1,000 more times in his career than he struck out. Now, in this day and age where it's common for a player to strike out 200 times and walk 50 times in their career and put up otherwise great numbers, it really shows what an exceptional player Barry Bonds was. Certainly deserving of the Hall of Fame. Now, since we've opened that can of worms of the PED era, you have to put Sammy Sosa in the Hall of Fame. 609 home runs, and of course, he and Mark McGwire really brought Major League Baseball back to life, resuscitated it back in 1998 after coming off this strike season where they really lost a lot of fans and a lot of attention. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire really had a lot to do with that. So Sammy Sosa will be my 4th out of 6 nominees, and the 5th, of course, is Mark McGwire himself. He would have to be put through the veteran committee, though, because he's been out of the game since 2001, so he's not one of my nominees, but I did want to get him in there since he's a veteran committee nominee. Again, almost 600 career home runs, set the single season record before Bonds broke it with 70. Of course, Bonds went on to hit 73. Even after the year McGwire hit 70, he followed that year, that season up in 1999 with 65. So come on, veteran committee, let's get with the program here and let's get Mark McGwire in the Hall of Fame. And finally, I'm going to put a relief pitcher in the Hall of Fame. I'm not big on putting relief pitchers in the Hall of Fame. If it were up to me, there would be none, and this would be the first. I wouldn't have put Bruce Sutter or Trevor Hoffman in the Hall of Fame. I don't, again, they didn't log the innings to warrant it. Yes, they were great closers in their day, but to me, starting pitchers are much more valuable to a team than relief pitchers. But Mariano Rivera is the one exception. The Sandman was just entered the game, and it was lights out for the opponent. The Yankees definitely have had the greatest closer of all time, winning 82 games versus 60 losses. Wins and losses really don't matter as a closer, but he did have 652 saves with an impeccable 2.21 ERA and a WHIP of 1.00. Just a dominant closer, and certainly worthy of a Hall of Fame ballot. All right, well, that's my nominees for the Hall of Fame. I'm interested to see everyone else's. This was a great contest by Blu Ink, and I appreciate the opportunity to participate. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out my future videos. Have a great day, everyone, YouTubers.